Hello there. All right, guys. Today we are going over the Spiritus Thing 2. This is the chest rig that I wore on this last TDY. Got a lot of questions about it and a slight modification that I made to it. So stick around, and so we'll kind of cover this right here. Okay, so we are going to hit the harness first, just because if you are new to my channel, you probably haven't seen it. If you've been on my channel for a while, you've definitely seen this. So this right here is the ARS Bravo from L4 Performance. One of the biggest differences on this harness from some of the others is it's not your traditional like X or H. I don't know what you would call this, but the way that this right here is shaped, at least for my body size, this right here like wraps around extremely well, and when I go to actually clip this thing in, of course, it is adjustable on all of the points for it. But this chest rig is extremely lightweight and is also extremely thin, but the way that it is just shaped really distributes the weight exceptionally. I don't think I have found a better harness that I have worn. So this right here is kind of my go-to harness for any chest rig that I'm wearing, and of course the Spiritus Thing 2, no exceptions. Okay, guys, so for those of you guys who are familiar with the Thing 2, so I'll throw a picture up there if you guys kind of see what it looks like without everything on it. But really biggest thing here is that it's just a Velcro field with 3 rows of MOLLE on either side, and then we have 2 radio pouches that are built into the rear, and I'll show you those things when I flip it around. But understand it's really designed so that way if you go from your plate carrier to your chest rig, you can just unclip your placard and then throw it on this, and you're good to go as long as you know your additional pouches that are on the side. So for somebody like me, I do not swap out calibers, all right? So I'm carrying an AR-15 and M4 at all times. So I don't really need a separate placard setup. And additionally, the way I have my placard set up is kind of the way that I prefer it no matter what. It's not just for muscle memory and knowing where everything is just for me, I found what really works. And so on here, this is the ARS Tango from L4 Performance, their XXS GP pouch. And then normally I have 2 tourniquet pouches on either side. I only have 1 over here. That was to make room for this smoke grenade on the other side. But really just removing that tourniquet pouch on this side is the only difference between this right here being on my plate carrier or being on this. And like I said, for me, this right here is just, I found what works. So I'll kind of move over from the side and go across. This right here, this is just a small GP pouch. I'm gonna see this one here is from Blue Forest Gear. This here's where my NVGs are sitting at. Once again, so this is just a pouch that I had, but I would definitely recommend getting a pouch if you're gonna store your NVGs in it from Spiritus or somebody that has the extra zipper, the extra little storage on the front just for sticking your extra batteries. It just kind of helps because it's not much weight, but also everything's kind of in one little spot here. And of course, then we have the placard itself, and that is routed through these little tabs that are up here on top, then stuck against it with the Velcro. That is what is actually holding this placard in place, just like it would on your plate carrier. And then moving off to the side, over here. So this right here is the also from L4 Performance, and this is their MOLLE smoke grenade pouch. And what it is it is a smoke grenade pouch that is actually MOLLE'd in behind this pouch right here. So I'll try to throw a picture up there if you guys kind of see what that right there looks like. But this right here, once you've expended your smoke grenade, it then folds down. It takes up almost no room. But the reason why I like this is because if you guys are wearing belt kit, chest rig, something that kind of wraps around the curvature of your body, in between pouches where it bends, you end up having some of that dead space. So this right here actually allows me to fill that dead space with the smoke grenade that I need. And so I have made a post on that. Definitely go to my Instagram and take a look at that. But so this right here is just a smoke grenade. Over here, so this here is actually a Cry knockoff pouch from Mowberries. I believe I'm saying that right. Tactical. Said normally I have my Cry pouch on there, but said I'm still testing this one right here out. And this right here is where I can store my additional 2 magazines. So said I've got 3 here, 2 here. That gives me 5. But said I could also take those right there out, stick other items inside it if I wanted to kind of slim down a little bit. But honestly, I think 5 magazines is kind of the minimum that you should be going for. And then on the side over here, this right here is one of the issued tourniquet pouches. I think this is either First Spear or Eagle, but it came with the kit for my my ABAV. So that is just the front of this kit. All right, so that's everything that kind of got attached. And then on the bottom, I have the Faro Roll 1. I'm gonna flip this over to the back and show you how I actually got that to fit on here. Okay guys, so on the back side is where I made pretty much the biggest like modification, and all I did was on the rear here, it's like there's this material for the chest rig actually goes all the way down to the bottom, and there's like a small lip, and that is where you actually open it up and stick your danglers inside. Now, this being a Spiritus system, it is sized a little bit better for Spiritus danglers. The Ferro Concepts Roll 1 did not fit. It was just like a little like too long. But I also wanted to be able to attach this to a plate carrier like my Ferro Concept Slickster. So all I ended up doing was I just kind of cut that material like out, and that left me with this nice good chunk here of hook material. I was able to actually place the Roll 1, and so just like this, I can actually clip this into my plate carrier, and this right here will kind of like help like hold like on like the front. When I am not wearing a plate carrier, just wearing it as a chest rig, I have this. All right, so this right here is the ARS Echo module from L4 Performance, and because of it has the loop material on it, all I ended up like doing was I just kind of placed that on the inside here. So now I have a zipper pouch where I can stick any sort of like small flat like admin like items like in it. But additionally, it also gives me a little bit of like padding. I've said that before. I've used this on some other stuff, and said this here is made from that X-Pack material, so it is extremely lightweight. Really adding this onto the chest rig, said it gives me an extra benefit, extra feature, but like, you know, there's really no negatives like to it. So that is how I have the back of this right here like set up. And then of course, one of the biggest things here is going to be the fact that because we have the built-in radio pouches, so you can wear a radio on one side and you can wear one of the Core Performance ice flasks on the other side. So when I had the radio, you know, wear that on, you know, my left side is kind of like standard, and then on the right side I had the ice flask. When I didn't have a radio, cool, I was actually able to plus up and wear two of these. This right here is the biggest reason why I got the Thing 2. I wanted to find a chest rig that I could wear that had kind of like pouches or a way to attach a pouch on the inside here that was going to be a thinner, slicker material. That way, when these bad boys right here are frozen, I'm actually getting all of the benefits, like, you know, from that. So this right here actually worked out extremely well, not just on the ground, but also flying in the helo, like with it. It gets hot, especially here in South Georgia and Florida where we were at. So these right here actually worked, you know, fantastically. The only kind of like drawback to it is that when you go to like take it out, if it's pressed up against like your body, it's like a little tight, so you do have to kind of like, you know, finagle it back in. So there was that as far as like fitment. The other thing was is that this material right here, while it does let some of like that cold like seep through, it wasn't exactly like, you know, the best. I was definitely feeling it more like an up top. So something I'm looking at doing is probably maybe cutting a small window into either side of these ones like right here, and that is just to be able to give me a little bit more like, you know, contact from the ice flask up against my body. So I said this right here, really the biggest reason why I bought this, to kind of like test it out. But I said I love this. I think this here like worked great, and hopefully, you know, the Spirit Systems like Thing 3 works just as well as this one. I don't have one of those. I don't plan on getting one of those, but that if you guys have seen the Thing 2 is a lot of guys are selling it for pretty cheap because they're trying to get rid of them. They're not making them anymore. So that if you want to pick one up, said highly recommend it. So that's all I got. If y'all have any questions, you know, hit me up. As always, here for y'all. Later.